or misperception, both words, that of what law enforcement does. We've been doing this for 5 years. This is not something we do because something just happened yesterday or something will happen tomorrow. It's our firm belief that we get out and talk to people. When we first did this in Providence, we had the same amount of people, probably less, 3 or 4. By the end of the day, we go to forums with 250 people. Some people don't always agree with us, sometimes we don't agree with them. But dialogue, it's important that we tell you how we operate, you tell us how your perception of how we operate, or what you really know about how we operate. We think that's critical in the success of what happens in law enforcement. Municipal Training Academy, you see those troopers to their left. They're in charge of training. Brian, come on in. This is Chief Brian Sullivan. He's the president of the Rhode Island Police Chiefs Association.
Sorry about that. I'm from Lincoln. I got lost.
And he represents the body of chiefs. This is Chief Paul King from the Pawtucket Police Department. And I don't know his guys' names, but we have a captain.
Captain Santori.
And Sergeant.
Sergeant Theodore Joseph.
Captain. Tell them who you are.
Captain Anna Summercom, the Director of Training. I oversee the Municipal Academy and Rhode Island State Police Academy.
Lieutenant Scott Raines, I serve as the Executive Director of the Municipal Academy.
My name is Corporal Tom Shannon, the Basic Training Officer for the Municipal Training Academy.
Scott Harville, Class Training Officer.
And Trooper Joy Yankee, also class training officer.
That's our commitment from, we have the Rhode Island State Police, and we have the Department of Public Safety. This is this big conglomerate. They're assigned to our Department of Public Safety, they're troopers, but that's their job. Day in and day out, except for the captain. The captain works directly for me and my staff. She's in charge of all our training, from state police training and from municipal police training. They do the same thing. Everything they learn, the troopers learn. Everything the troopers learn, they learn. It's the same thing. It only makes sense. They fall under my command since 2007. So if we're going to train one way, we should train the same. So they operate the same way we do, and vice versa. So they get pushed into your communities. You may encounter a Lincoln police officer someday with mutual aid, may come into Pawtucket to help. Adjoining towns do come when there's an issue for them, and obviously members of the state police come. So for us, we want to open up the doors to talk to you. I don't want you to be discouraged. I'm sorry? Okay. I don't want you to be discouraged because of numbers. We're not asking for 5,000 people or 2. Whoever wants to come, will come and talk to you. It's important that they hear from you, though, at the recruit age, because you can talk to me. I have 32 years in the business, and I have a different perspective than someone that's brand new in the street. The change agents, we make the change and we make policy, but they come from them. They're the people you're going to have to interact with on the street, not me. Maybe you will sometimes because I'm all over the place. But they are the people you have to talk to. So I encourage you to look at them, ask them questions. There's no guarded answers. They'll raise them, they'll ask them to stand up and address and answer a question you may have. If you have questions of me, I'll take them. You all know Kobe Dennis. Kobe's, I feel bad for Kobe because he doesn't know which way to turn sometimes because he supports police. It doesn't mean he supports police doing the wrong thing. I want to make that clear. He doesn't support that. But there's nobody in the room wearing a uniform here today that supports police doing the wrong thing. It's just the way it is. So if there is some issue in Rhode Island, you bring it to me. Particularly in Pawtucket, you bring it right to the chief. And same with Chief Sullivan. Those are the things we want to get through. We have these citizens academies, police academies we do. Ours, we have one that graduates tomorrow. We take 40 people once a year and bring them to our school, and for 6 weeks, they go through how we train. Now, you can't really go through 3 hours a night for 6 weeks and understand what they do. I don't even know the hours they do, but there's 6 months of training. And you have to understand what their training is so different. Cops, as you guys refer to them, I call them professional policing. What they go through is a 1.5 year vetting process. They apply for Pawtucket Police, and by the time they take a written test, a physical test, an oral board, a psychological test, a medical test, and they pass them, and they're accepted in the academy, then they have to go to the academy. The academy is not the best, funnest place to be. Is that fair to say? But it's done for a reason. It's almost 6 months of training. So they go through 2 years of vetting, then they get on their police department, and you may think it's over. The cops, no. They have a 1-year probationary period where they have field training officers assigned to them. That's their job to teach them now that subculture that they're going to go out to. And that's for a year. So it's like a 3-year process. So I don't know where you work, what your employments are, but if you work at CBS, you don't have a 3-year vetting process for it. It's a very strict, everybody doesn't make it. People resign or sometimes are terminated from the academy because we don't want problems. Most of that is taken care of before they get to the academy. And sometimes they just can't cut it, and sometimes it's not their fault, it's just not for them. It's just, and that's not a bad thing. If you recognize it's not for you, it's okay, because it's a different culture. So part of this process is to find people in the community that look like Kobe, or look like a Hispanic male, or an African-American female, or Laotian, someone that fits your community. Thank you. Shane. And if certified to do what they do. So if you watch somebody that comes from your community, we get that. That's a national issue where everybody talks about it. So here, we believe Ferguson didn't happen for many reasons, because of people like Kobe, who were in the community with us. If you don't know this, the day Ferguson was breaking,